Hello and welcome everyone to Clicks and Classics Kathy Rain. Last time we were able to talk to Erica Wade. We found a few clues that lead us back to Conwell Springs, and that is where we have to go. Before we go though, I do want to see if we can talk to Eileen some more. If not, we will just...
Hey E, got a sec?
Sure thing, Kathy. What's up?
So what am I supposed to do with this?
I don't know. I thought it might help you find the place where that picture was taken.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind.
That's about the flower. Anything else? Doesn't really seem that way, so...
I should get back to the investigation.
Okie dokie.
Let's check out the botany book excerpt.
Eileen gave me this. Might contain useful information if I come across a specimen. It's a photocopy of a book page with information about the red scythe flower. Here's an interesting segment. Another interesting trait of the red scythe is the smell, which is familiar to that of a pepper. The pollen of the plant has also been known to cause hallucinations in concentrated amounts. Native American tribes harvested and smoked the plant for that reason, but the flower never caught on as a modern recreational drug due to the difficulty of growing it.
Interesting. That could be very well connected.
All right, I'm off. Peace out, E.
Peace out.
Okie dokie. Good luck and see you later.
Okay. Bunch of places. Nature reserve, church, clinic. Kind of want to first visit our grandma though. See if she has anything new to say.
Oh, hello, dear. Glad to see you again so soon.
Hi, Grandma. I just thought I'd drop by.
Sure, hon. Stay as long as you'd like.
Let's talk to her.
Mind if we talk for a bit, Grandma?
Not at all, dear. What's on your mind?
I don't see a reason to ask her about that.
Okay. What about the Church of the Holy Trinity?
I don't see a reason to ask her about that.
Okay. I thought maybe asking her if she knows anything weird about it.
What do you see in this picture, Grandma?
I have no idea, but it's quite an eerie display. What is it?
I'm trying to figure that out. I found the picture hidden in the attic.
Oh, come to think of it, the trees do look similar to the ones in Conwell Woods.
Okay.
Yeah, it was taken somewhere in that area. I found out that the flower in the picture matches a rare local species.
Aren't you clever? Do let me know if you come across anything else.
Okay. Anything you know about the flower?
Do you know anything about this flower, Grandma?
I can't say that I do. I remember seeing it growing in the woods, but I didn't think much of it at the time.
Okay.
See you later, Grams.
Take care, dear.
Well, still nice to check in with her. So I guess now I will go to the clinic. Maybe we can meet Charles Wade there. Oh, it's our Tom friend again.
Yep, it's full of trash. Figure that. Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Okay. Just checking if you need anything, Kathy.
It's that homeless guy who helped me distract Lenny. We meet again, Mr. Homeless Guy.
Homeless? This That's the worst thing I ever heard of, and totally untrue.
So, what's up with the trash can? Digging for treasure?
Well, I'm just going through a rough patch. By the way, you owe me $10.
Nah, you agreed to 7.
You're busting my balls here.
Better get those balls checked out in this clinic then.
So cold. Like a stake through the heart.
What do they call you anyway?
Goober. Everyone calls me Goober.
Goober.
All right, I'm Kathy.
Lovely
Pleasure
name.
to meet you.
Well, let's ask about his story.
So, what's your story anyway?
My story?
Yeah, don't all bums have a story?
For your information, this is all just a dry streak in my showbiz career.
Is that so? I don't recognize you at all.
I used to have more hair.
That I actually believe.
Come on, man. Frankie Gold is my stage name. Surely you must have heard of me.
Not really, no.
Oh, come on. I have starred in dozens of Hollywood movies. The Silence of the Lambert, Jacob's Bladder, The Usual Surprises, Natural Bald Killers.
Not ringing any bells.
Kids these days, no appreciation for quality cinema. Breaks my heart.
Yeah, tell me about your showbiz career.
So, tell me about this acting career of yours.
What about it?
Oh, yeah, tell me about The Silence of Lambert.
Tell me about The Silence of Lambert.
Lawrence Lambert, a real estate agent, suddenly turns mute overnight. For weeks, he tries to communicate with customers using a self-invented sign language, only to realize that true love needs no communication at all. He marries his housekeeper, who only knows 2 words in English, yes and clean. In the end, Lawrence dies of a heart attack in the arms of his lovely wife, Consuelo Lambert Vasquez. Based on a true story.
Oh, okay. Sounds great.
I'm not sure I want to know what Jacob's Bladder is about, but I'm gonna ask anyway.
Jacob's Bladder. The tragic story of Jacob Cobb, a schizophrenic man who forms an imaginary romantic relationship with his bladder. During long and joyful monologues on the can, he starts referring to his nether regions by the name of Jenny. Sadly, before Jacob has a chance to elope with his sweetheart, he gets committed to an asylum due to increasingly erratic behavior. After a big fight with his paramour, Jacob refuses to pee for a week, and he dies from a ruptured bladder.
Well, that sounds riveting. What about The Usual Surprises?
Give me the rundown on The Usual Surprises.
A lighthearted comedy taking place during a surprise birthday party of 34-year-old Sid McBacon. The story is told from 8 different perspectives to keep the audience guessing who the protagonist actually is. The movie ends with the biggest surprise of them all. Sid suddenly dies of an epileptic seizure.
Oh,
I guess it's more of a dark comedy.
I guess so. What about Natural Bald Killers?
Natural Bald Killers?
It's a dystopian vision of the future where people are valued by the quality of their hair. The protagonist, Eddie Zephyr, turns bald in high school. One day, he has simply had enough of all the teasing and the bullying, and he completely snaps and heads out on a scalping spree in search of the perfect head of hair. Eddie makes his way to Mexico for an illegal hair transplant. However, he has an adverse reaction to the anesthesia and he dies on the operating table.
Oh. Why always death in the end?
Why do you always die at the end of your movies?
Hey, Sean Bean?
Typecasting?
Okay.
Never mind.
Well,
Not the cultured type. I understand.
I need to ask you a few questions.
Sounds serious. Ask away.
okay, do you know anything about the incident in 81?
Do you know what happened to Joseph Rain in 81?
I most certainly do.
What? Tell me.
Are you sure you want to know? Not everyone can handle the
Oh
truth.
boy.
Oh, just spit it out.
Okay, here we go. Ready? Abducted by aliens.
I should have known better.
Oh, I saw it, man. A big, huge light. I was a bit drunk at the time, but I had my reasons. My wife had just left me, taken the dog, not to mention I was being conscripted for the war. But I'm telling you, those goddamn aliens took him and they experimented on him. And that's why he was so messed up when they put him back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to stop you there.
Open your mind, man.
I will say, though, it's interesting that he mentions the light. Maybe that is connected in some way. So we may have to keep that in mind with the 3 lights that we have there.
Do you know who Lily Myers was?
Yep, my dad was the one who found her floating in the lake.
Really? What can you tell me about her?
Ah, geez, not a lot. I mean, teenage girls, man, they're like their own species. Impossible to figure out. Not to mention how that entire family ain't, like, people-friendly.
Now that's an understatement. Nearly started brawling with Sue the first time I met her.
Yeah, she could sure deal out a mean whooping, that lady.
What about the cocky call sign?
Do you recognize the nickname Cocky?
Why, I used to call myself that back in Nam. Oh,
What?
how I missed that marvelous youthful ego of mine.
Is he cocky?
Why do I even bother?
Okay, he was just joking.
Do you know who Charles Wade is?
Sure, he's been holed up in this clinic for the last couple of weeks.
You saw Charles Wade go in there?
Well, yeah, I just told you, man.
How did he look?
Okay, I guess. Still walking, at least.
What do you know about Lily Myers' art?
Nothing but hearsay. People say it was pretty deranged.
What's your opinion on the Church of the Holy Trinity?
I'd say they're good people. Isaac the priest is, anyway. His dad, Father Bill, on the other hand, though, he and the people he had around him were into some weird shit.
What kind of weird shit?
I don't know, they were like a cult or something, with Billy
Okay.
Praise himself at the top. Really shifty bunch of folks. Isaac turned it all around when his dad kicked the bucket, made it a proper church.
Interesting. Do you know anyone else who was involved in the old church?
Not really, I tried to stay as far away from those people as possible. Ask Isaac about it, he's a friendly guy.
All right, I might do that.
That's interesting.
Do you know what this is?
Chinese fireworks, of course. I grew up in Shanghai, I know what I'm talking
did you?
about. They used to call me Dong Pai, meaning round-eyed baldy. Those were some rough years. I miss the food, not to mention the women. Got 2 kids down there now, Maylin and Little Ping.
Time to hit the off switch now, buddy. Do you know
This
anything
guy.
about this flower?
It's red?
Enlightening.
Can we hire him as our deputy?
Do you recognize these men?
That's your granddad, right?
Yeah. What about the other 2?
No idea. I think my face blindness is acting up again.
Okay. Wanna smoke, buddy?
Nah, I got stage 2 lung cancer. I'm keeping it under control with a fruitarian diet.
Okay. I guess that's
Okay,
it.
that's enough serious questions for now.
Alrighty,
Okay, I'm off.
bye.
Okay, that was absolutely enlivening. Okay, let's look around first.
No thanks. Women's magazines make my brain melt. I can't read it from here. A calendar from 1991. Guess they really liked that year.
It was a great year.
A computer. They likely keep records of their patients on it.
I probably need to get my hands on that.
Rows and
point.
columns of files. Probably easier to use the computer if I need to do some digging.
That's
She looks bored out of her mind. Pretty understandable, to be honest.
doesn't have a phone here, so we can't do the phone trick again.
Excuse me, nurse? Hey, nurse! Yeah?
Well, somebody around here hates that job.
Somebody around here hates their job.
No shit. What do you want?
I'm here to see Charles Wade.
Never heard of him. Anything else?
Bullshit. I know he's here. Listen, it's okay. I'm a friend of the family.
No, you're not, and I said he's not here. Don't make me call security.
What a bitch. I need to get rid of her somehow. Smoking allowed. Guess this place is a bit behind on healthcare regulations. Was expecting plastic, but this looks like a real plant. I can't read it from here.
Can I just go upstairs?
No point. I wouldn't even know what room to go to. Uncomfortable, hard plastic chairs. It's like they're intentionally trying to keep people out.
Can we...
That combination makes no sense.
Maybe setting it on fire.
I prefer to smoke outdoors.
Oof. Maybe we can ask Goober to help us.
Hey, doofus.
Oh, hi!
I would need a live performance.
So, how good an actor are you?
The best! The very best!
You know, that nurse in there, she said she loved you in all those movies, and that she always wished you'd give her a live performance.
I know it. She always gave me these strange looks. I thought it was contempt, but her face must just be cramping up from shyness.
Probably,
Yeah,
probably.
that's definitely it. She'd love to see you act, I'm sure.
I'm gonna have to oblige. Which movie do you think she'd like the best?
Oh. Not Silence of Lambert. Maybe we shouldn't go natural bald killers, so... what about Jacob's bladder?
Definitely Jacob's bladder.
I'm feeling the pressure.
Boy. He's gonna... Oh, I don't want to miss this.
Oh, Jenny, everything is forgiven. You and me were like peas and carrots. I'm just so full of your love that I think I'm about to burst. Jenny, where did you go? Oh, I don't feel so good. Thank you, thank you. You've been a great audience.
It didn't work?
That wasn't really an electrifying performance. I'll have to intervene somehow.
Intervene somehow.
Hey, doofus.
Oh, hi.
Hey,
Sure.
definitely.
I'm feeling.
So maybe I have to get her attention first.
Oh, Jenny, everything is forgiven. You and me were like peas
Again?
and
No
carrots.
thanks. I'm gonna have to think outside.
I'm just so full of your
I don't
love
want
that I think I'm about to burst. Jenny, where did you go? Oh, I don't feel so good. Thank you, thank you. You've been a great audience.
Good idea, but it wouldn't match his symptoms.
Which one was the one with the epileptic seizure? Wasn't it the it was the birthday thing, right? The usual surprises.
Hey, doof.
Oh,
I
Hey,
actually
sure.
have to shock him. I pretty much just tried it
about
as a
the
joke.
business as
Let's try that.
I can't believe you guys did all this for me. You know, what's that smell? Bacon? Oh, Bobby, my head hurts. Ah!
Nurse, he's seizing.
Oh, shit!
Jesus.
Man, I feel like a total jackass. I'll have to make it up to the poor guy later.
He'll be fine. He's a method actor. Or he's an actor on meth. One of the two. No! That's not good.
Employee of the Month, Carlita Mendez. Ugh, what a joke. It's that obnoxious nurse.
Okay,
Employee of the Month,
Carlita Mendez. Okay. Carlita Mendez. Hey, see Mendez? And maybe 1991? No. Because of the... We need some kind
calendar
of...
from 19...
Tried that one.
Employee of the Month, Carlita Mendez. No thanks. Women's magazines make my brain melt.
Oh, okay. Do we have anything?
Rows and columns of files. Probably easier to use the computer if I need to do some digging.
What could be the...
Employee of the Month, Carlita Mendez. Ugh, what a joke. It's that obnoxious nurse. A computer. They likely keep records of their patients on it.
Probably, but...
A calendar from 1991. Guess they really liked that year.
That doesn't work. Carlita... It just said password wrong, so I would assume that the username would be right. Okay, so that is definitely not correct. 1991. I thought maybe because we had that on the calendar, but what else? Can't go upstairs. We have anything here? Don't think so.
No thanks. Women's magazines make my brain melt. Was expecting plastic, but this looks like a real plant.
There's also nothing else here.
Employee of the Month, Carlita Mendez. Ugh, what a joke. It's that obnoxious nurse.
Oh, maybe. Maybe. Do we still have the floppy disk? C. Mendes Otorgador. Okay. Otorgador. Ha! We did it! That's cool that we had to reuse the disc. It's sometimes strange in these types of games that when you have a very useful tool like this disc, that you only use it once, and then either you give it back and then you don't have it for another situation where you could use it, or it just never, there's never a situation where you could use it again. So it's cool that we had to reuse it here. Wade. Charles Wade, there we go. Fur from Dr. A. Friedman, St. Francis Medical Center. Patient has undergone successful invasive heart surgery and was transferred to this facility at his own request. The initial prognosis looks good and the patient is likely to make a full recovery in 6 to 8 weeks. Room 6B. Okay. That should be enough. Okay.
It's all right, Claude.
Understood, sir.
So, you managed to find me.
I did.
Well, let's get this over with then. How do you want your pictures? Shall I get some tubes to fill my face with? Will that suffice for your front page?
I'm no journalist. Well, not yet anyway.
Ah, she's but a cub. So, you're hoping for your big break. Surely this must be worth an internship at one of the big papers. Do you want me to call Thompson at the Times and get it over with? I still play golf with him every once in a while.
You're assuming a lot, Mr.
You're
Wade.
assuming a lot, Mr. Wade.
Guilty as charged. It's a stance I find remarkably effective for a man with little time and a tendency to be correct.
You might want to rethink that attitude. I have a history of surprising people.
Is that so? Very well, I'll indulge you for now. Who are you then?
I'm Kathy Rain. Joseph was my grandfather.
Now I remember. You were at the funeral.
I was.
You were late.
I needed my morning smoke. Besides, it's not like Grandpa was going anywhere.
Oh, just look at her, Claude. She's absolutely fearless. That's Joseph's blood running through her veins.
She certainly has a smart mouth, sir.
I must say, you have me intrigued, Kathy. What can this old man help you with?
Okay.
Do you know anything about what happened to my grandfather in '81?
I wish I did, Kathy. You must know I did everything in my power to help. How do you think Mary Elizabeth could afford all that expensive treatment? MRIs, neurologists, say what you will about Joseph. But he was never rich.
Strange. Grandma never mentioned that to me.
She's just too proud. At first she refused. She was convinced that I had an agenda, that there were strings attached.
And were there?
Don't be silly. Despite all that had happened, I still loved Joseph dearly. I wanted to help. People from places like this have a deeply rooted mistrust in the rich, passed on for generations. In her eyes, I had become one of them.
So that's all you know about the whole affair?
Are you implying that there's more to know? I left the diagnosis to the professionals. Mrs. Rain accepted the health care, but asked me to stay out of everything else. So I did.
I see. What can you tell me about your friendship with Grandpa?
Joseph was the best friend I ever had. We grew up together, married our high school sweethearts together, went to war together. I can't even begin to count the number of times he's saved my life. I repaid the favor once or twice, but he came up ahead, no doubt.
So when did you two lose touch? I heard that something happened between you and him. What was it?
The truth is, Brian Rain happened. Sharon Evans happened.
My parents?
Yes. They ruined everything with their vile, destructive behavior. I couldn't have that around my daughter or my newborn grandson. Joseph was naive. He believed that anyone could be helped, that anyone could be reasoned with, given a chance. He was just too good, bless him. He should have been harder on Brian, more strict.
We don't know the situation.
So our family started drifting apart. Eventually, my company grew much too large for this little town, and we moved on. Not long after that, your grandfather ended up in that wheelchair. That marked the end of our friendship, for obvious reasons.
Okay, what about Lily Myers?
You bought a number of paintings by Lily Myers. Why?
I'm known to dabble in art from time to time. Martha, my wife at the time, was enamored with the paintings. I believe she first saw them at the high school which the Myers girl attended. Anyway, after the poor girl killed herself, I bought the paintings speculatively. When a young artist with any talent to speak of commits suicide, it can be a wet dream of certain connoisseurs. Shortly after procuring the art, I had it valued by an expert who determined that the value was 3 times the amount I bought it for. Today, I'm sure I would have made my money back tenfold or more if it wasn't for the art theft.
What art theft?
There was a burglary at the mansion I used to own here in town. It was all over the local news at the time.
Well, shit.
Eloquently put.
Thank you. Yeah, let's follow up on Lily Myers' art first.
Can you tell me about the art theft?
Well, somebody broke in, stole the paintings, and got out. Fairly clumsy job. Lots of broken windows. The strangest thing was that I had a Monet, a Rembrandt, and 2 paintings by Picasso, untouched. But every single painting by an unknown local artist, gone.
That is very
can't
strange.
be a coincidence.
Agreed. Somebody wanted those paintings badly.
I assume there was an investigation.
Yes, Sheriff Truman came by with his deputy a few hours later, but they didn't have much luck. They found a few hairs, which turned out to be from Ruffles, the family dog.
Some stunning police work right there.
Indeed. There was a single witness, though, who said he could make out multiple burglars leaving the scene of the crime, but nothing more than that.
So, I take it the case was closed?
Yes. I honestly didn't care much one way or the other, given the fact that my most expensive pieces were safe and sound.
I think I'll have a chat with the sheriff about the matter, if that's okay with you.
Certainly. I'll call ahead and instruct him to give you everything you need.
That's good.
That'd be great. Thanks, Charles.
Anytime. But I'm curious, what's your interest in the paintings?
I've learned that my grandfather went to Sue and asked to see them, right before he had his injury.
Is that so? Strange.
So what about this Corky?
Do you recognize the call sign Cocky?
Would be strange if I didn't, since I was the one who coined it. It belongs to a fellow named Jimmy Cochran. He was a coward, really. The nickname is somewhat of a bad joke.
Perfect. Thanks.
Jimmy Cochran, okay. So, can you tell me anything about him?
Tell me about Jimmy Cochran. Is he still alive?
In a literal sense. He's been held in a mental institution for years.
Let me guess. Since 81?
Either 82 or 83. I'm fairly certain it was early 83.
Do you remember the name of the institution?
Something starting with an E. Emerson, Everton, or similar.
Ingstrom? Ingstrom Psychiatric Hospital?
Yes, that's the one.
Oh,
You know
I
the
see.
place, Kathy.
That's where our mother is. But let's not reveal that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. I've passed the building a few times in the city. So, do you know why Jimmy ended up in there?
Some obsessive-compulsive syndrome. He became fixated with circles and started hurting himself, trying to scratch the circles out of his head.
Creepy. I wonder what set him off. I think I'll check the place out tomorrow. Too late to head back to the city now.
Makes sense. Anything in particular about the Church of the Holy Trinity?
What can you tell me about the Church of the Holy Trinity?
They seem like any other church to me. But then again, I'm not their usual clientele. Weddings, baptisms, and funerals are just about what I can muster. And I always leave early.
fair enough. Okay. Anything you can tell me about?
Do you recognize this, Charles?
That I have here.
Of course. Your grandfather, me, Jimmy Cochran, taken shortly before we went to the war.
You guys look like you just won the lottery or something.
Indeed. We were mere children, with no concept of what we were getting into.
What do you see in this picture, Charles?
Fireflies would be my best guess. They can grow terribly large around these parts.
Those would be some giant fireflies.
Do you know what this is?
A flower? Why don't you consult a botanist instead of bothering me with this nonsense?
No, don't get like that. Okay, probably shouldn't offer him cigarettes. Okay, I think that is
Thanks, Charles.
it.
That's all I need for now.
You're welcome, Kathy. Come back anytime.
That was very helpful, and we will continue our investigation next time. Thank you all for watching today's episode. If you enjoyed the episode, please give the video a like, maybe consider subscribing to the channel, share the video with friends, family, and the people on the internet. That all helps me out a whole bunch and will bring you more content in the future. I will be back with more Clicks and Classics Kathy Rain tomorrow. Until then, have a great time.